So the insurance industry is one of those industries that I consider kind of layoff proof because most states require you to have some type of insurance, whether that be on yourself, your home, your automobile, whatever. And when looking for jobs, it might be attractive because of that reason, but is it right for you?
You in the past, I'm in the future. You mad.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keela Trishan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, mental health, and I'll throw in some vlogs here and there, typically about day in the life in the insurance industry working from home. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your support. Okay, so today I wanted to do another video talking about insurance and just kind of talking about the day in the life, like kind of on the back end of insurance, and just kind of talk about like the real and give you some information if you're considering a job in insurance, some things to consider to see if this is an industry that is right for you. So if you're interested, definitely go on ahead and stay tuned. Okay guys, so first off, I do apologize about the background noise. I'm filming on a Sunday and a lot of people are home and it's a lot of stuff going on outside. So I do apologize about that. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about regarding the insurance industry is just you have to accept the fact that you are going to have a heavy workload most of the time. So insurance is one of those industries where, as I was saying before, there are always going to be claims and there is never a shortage of work. Also, a lot of insurance companies, at least the ones that I work for, they tend to acquire like smaller insurance companies and you end up taking on the work of that insurance company as well. In addition, there is a high turnover because of the workload. So you just kind of have to go in knowing that it's going to be one of those jobs that's very like high pace and like you're always going to be going. Now, I know for some people that can be very overwhelming and it might not be something that you want to handle, but for other people this is a good thing because the days do go by quick. So you're always busy, like literally I'll clock in and get my work done for the morning. Next thing I know it's lunchtime, and then next thing I know it's time to clock out and do it all over again the next day. So my days go by quick. So if that's something that is not a problem for you, then it may be an industry that you want to consider. But even when the insurance industry is slow is relative. Like it might be slower than normal, but you still have a lot of work to do. Okay, so the second thing that I want to talk about regarding the insurance industry is if you decide to take on a position in insurance, especially if you're going to be working with the public, actually working on claims and just, working with people, you're going to have to be comfortable having tough conversations. That was something that was a little hard for me to overcome because it is difficult to deliver information to people that they don't want to hear, especially when they are paying for the service. A lot of times people don't understand what their policy covers until there is a claim. And as a claims professional, it is your job to explain these coverages to the customer so they understand what exactly is being covered and what isn't being covered. And you will have a lot of times where people think something is covered or they assume something is covered that's not. So you have to be comfortable and you have to have tact and you have to be delicate when you're having these conversations because depending on what it is, it could be life-changing for the person. So you have to be able to explain to people what you can do and what you cannot do. And although you want to have a yes mentality, that's kind of like something that you'll hear if you like work in a customer service type position. You want to have a yes mentality. You want to kind of concentrate on more of what you can do versus what you can't do. But in insurance, there are going to be a lot of times where there's just something where there's no yes, like you just can't pay for this. And there's no way to kind of lighten that blow. So you have to be able to have those conversations with tact and you have to be comfortable with having these conversations over the phone and in some cases in person. So if that is something that is like nerve-wracking for you, the insurance industry, or at least something customer facing in the insurance industry, wouldn't be ideal for you because you do have to be comfortable with that and you have to be able to deliver the news and still be customer service friendly. Okay, so the third thing that you want to just kind of keep in mind if you plan on working insurance is you need to be able to make decisions on the fly. and you need to be able to make decisions quickly. So if you've ever read through an insurance policy, a lot of times the verbiage can be very gray. So it'll tell you this is a policy, but a lot of times you have discretion. Some things are black and white, but a lot of times you have discretion on whether or not you pay additional here, or you let this go or stop it at this time, whatever. So you have to look at each situation individually and decide what to do. A lot of insurance too is making sure that you document your files. So let's say you're paying something that normally wouldn't be paid. A lot of times, as long as you can justify why you're paying this or why this situation is special, then you are able to pass your audits, and your manager won't yell at you. It's another thing. Your manager can be someone that wants you to come to them about decisions, but a lot of times managers are so busy, they need you to be able to make these decisions on your own without getting them involved, but using your best judgment. So the easiest thing I can, talk about is rental. Rental typically, and in California, I'm gonna speak about California claims because that's what I'm most familiar with. But a lot of times with rental, you have a maximum of 30 days and then you have a daily rate. So let's just say you have $900 max. That means that you would have $30 per day maximum. So even if you're in a car for $38 a day, you're only gonna get reimbursed up to $30 per day. So there are times when a vehicle becomes a total loss, we're not supposed to pay that full 30 days if the total loss gets settled with before the 30 days is up. The 30 days is max. So if your vehicle's at the shop getting fixed, then you have a maximum of a month. But if your vehicle is deemed a total loss and the insurance has offered to pay for the vehicle, then we're supposed to stop that rental. Now, we do have discretion to pay a little bit more if the person's in a special situation, or let's say maybe the check got lost in the mail or whatever. If there's some type of extenuating circumstances, we can document the file and say, hey, I'm gonna go on ahead and grant this person the full 30 days because of X, Y, and Z. So those that's something that you want to consider. Not just with rental, that's just the easiest thing I could think of right now, but there are a lot of different things where you just kind of have to make a judgment call. You want to do what's best for the customer, but you also want to cover your ass, because you don't want to do something for somebody that ends up getting you written up or terminated or whatever. So you just have to be comfortable making those decisions, because you're going to be put in a position a lot where you have to make decisions on the fly. Okay, so to kind of piggyback off of number 3, you have to pay attention to detail. You have to be somebody that pays attention to detail. Now, I work in insurance now, but I also work in a bank. So a lot of the jobs I've had have been jobs that are very detail oriented. So I'm just so used to just having to pay attention to things, making sure that I'm not transposing numbers, making sure that, I'm saying what I mean and all that stuff, because in insurance and in a lot of different industries, but in insurance, if you did not notate your file with what you did, it didn't happen. If you did not make a note, let me say that again, if you did not make a note, it did not happen. So you need to make sure that whenever you're having a phone call with somebody, if you made an exception for something or whatever, you need to document your file. You need to document your file whenever you do something significant. Best practice is to document your file every time there's contact with that customer, or even if you have contact with somebody in another department on that file, make sure that you are documenting your notes. That is something that a lot of insurance professionals struggle with, because it is such a busy industry. So you can be, doing 2 or 3 things at once, and then you forget to put a note in that file. Somebody goes in and needs certain information. You had that information, but you never notated the file. So that's something that could ding you. So you have to be comfortable multitasking, and you have to be one of those people. This boy would be going crazy while I'm trying to film, but you have to be one of those people that pays attention to all those types of things. So if you plan on getting a job in this industry and this is something that you're okay with, you need to have a system to make sure that you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's, because the insurance industry is very heavily regulated just because of different things that have happened in the past. A lot of times insurance companies have a reputation for getting over on people and not wanting to pay and all that stuff. And it is just so important to cover yourself, because if in the event somebody wants to bring up something that you did or didn't do, you always have your notes to cover your behind. Okay, so my last tip in trying to figure out if you should consider a job in the insurance industry is you need to be able to separate the job from your personal life. This is important, and this is something that took me a little bit of time to be able to do, because you can get so invested in your claims and so invested in the workload, because a lot of times, even if like you're not a manager, your claims are almost like your babies. You know, you're making these decisions, like you got people that don't want other people working on their files because they like things being done a certain way. I'm like that to a certain extent. I welcome help, but don't hop into my file and do anything if you're not gonna do it correctly. That's my biggest thing. I'm okay with you having your own style, but don't hop into my shit if you're gonna mess it up. So that's me, okay? But with that being said, a lot of times with that heavy workload and you doing overtime here and there and just, you know, having these claims for, you know, sometimes a couple of months, like you get to know these people, and you need to be able to separate the job from your personal life. Like, the people in your personal life don't give a shit about what you're doing at work. They want to make sure that you are happy and healthy, and that, you know, you're doing something that fulfills you, something that pays the bills, whatever. But they don't care about, you know, Sally did this, Sally did that, whatever. So I just bring that up because I find myself sometimes venting to people, and I keep it to a minimum these days. Like, I'll tell, you know, somebody about a story that happened with a customer or whatever, but I try not to make it like a habit or something that, you know, just becomes a whole conversation, because then now the job is impeding on my personal life. And you want to make sure, if you watch any of my videos, and you'll know I talk about, like, especially for me, I work from home, so you want to make sure that you are getting up, you want to make sure you're taking breaks, you want to make sure that you are hydrated, you want to make sure that you're eating, because this is an industry where you can get so caught up in your work and so caught up in what's going on that you forget to do any of that, and you literally will end the day hungry, dehydrated, you got a pee. It could just get all bad. So you want to make sure that even with you doing your job well, you always put yourself first. This is one of those industries where you can get burned out really quickly, and it can be really serious, like to the point where it creates anxiety where you didn't have anxiety. It creates depression where you didn't have depression. You need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself at all times. All right, you guys, so that is all that I have for you today. I really appreciate, I haven't said it, but I really appreciate the love I've been getting on the insurance videos, and I've got a couple of requests to do like more insurance videos, and I am more than happy to give you guys more of that content. I mean, it's what I do, and I actually do enjoy filming those day in the life vlogs. So if you are a stay-at-home mom or work from home mom, you can kind of see, like, I'm not doing everything perfect, but you can kind of see how I make it work, and hopefully that can inspire you to know that you can do it too. But yeah, like, if there's anything else that you are curious about in the insurance industry, make sure that you leave me a comment. I do try to get to all of my comments, you know, when I can. So make sure you leave me a comment if you have any questions, or if there's another type of video that you want me to do, definitely let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to give it a big fat thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you have not subscribed by now, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below, and be sure to check your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. That being said, you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you next time.
You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I never knew you lead that.